Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Casper Energy Services. Casper Energy Services prides itself on a culture of success.
Joining us from Phoenix, Arizona, my favorite betting guy, Tom Leslie. Tommy, I know you're a CFL historian, but we're going to talk about the NHL, and because I know you love to bet, and I know you have success in it. But you were dead wrong on the Calgary Flames. The Boston Bruins, who you picked, and so did I, look like crap out of the gate. They're 0-3, listless. But you know, you're looking at a lot of this stuff, you know, in the top four teams. Everyone's saying, well, Boston's crap. But St. Louis was fourth when the smoke cleared in the round robin, too, and they're the defending Stanley Cup champs. So I would think intensity is going to pick up. And we had a lot of surprises, a lot of upsets. What do you look for as we start the Eastern Conference Championship games and the West? Who do you look
Well, Mike, let me correct you here first. Yes, you know, I am a Flames fan, and I did say that watch out for Winnipeg, but injuries, you know, play a factor. And when they lost their two top guys, that was it.
It was over.
I was surprised by the way Johnny Gaudreau played. He showed up for a playoff game, and that was really the difference. The Flames came with intensity, and it was over. It was over after game two.
A lot of upsets. A lot of people didn't expect Montreal, but when you put Claude Julien behind the bench and you have a strong goaltender like Carey Price did, they surprised Pittsburgh. Toronto gets surprised by the hard-working Columbus Blue Jackets, who now take on Tampa Bay, one of the teams you like. But Columbus certainly adds a dark horse to the playoff picture again. And Tortorella, you got to admire the guy, whether you love him or hate him. I get a kick out of him. The players have bought into it, and they look, you know, will they repeat what they did last year? Hard to say, but I know Tampa Bay will be ready for them this year.
Well, Columbus is 22-1, and that's not a bad bet to take when you're talking about Columbus. You're only talking about 7-game series, and really all you have to do is win 4 games, but you take it one at a time, like Bob Johnson used to say, right?
Right.
We've got to play, we got to win the next 22, 23 games. So if you play one game at a time and you got hot goaltending, you're going to win. We've seen that in Calgary with Mika Kiprasov. We've seen it with Mike Vernon. The Oilers saw it with Grant Fuhr. So a hot goalie. So look at what Montreal did. It was on the back of Mike Price, right?
Yep.
And that's what it's going to take. Tampa Bay's got great goaltending. Boston's got great goaltending. And I think the level of intensity really picks up as you get into this round here. This was just the qualifying round. And, you know, I still stick with the Colorado Avalanche. I really like that talent. I like Boston. I like Tampa Bay. You know, there's about 5 teams that I really like. But if I was to put all the money down, I'd say Tampa Bay.
Who's Vegas leaning heavily toward at this time?
They've got the Boston Bruins, Tampa Bay, Colorado, and Vegas. Those are the top 4 teams. That's who they like. That money. Boston Bruins will be, you place a $100 bet, you're going to win $600. They're 6-1. Colorado, 6-1. Tampa Bay and Vegas also just in that, well, actually Vegas is favored to come out of this Western Conference. So if I was Vegas and I'm looking at just strictly what the odds makers are saying, we're looking at a Boston Bruin, Las Vegas Stanley Cup. But that's not why we're here.
Tom, I wanted to ask you, you know, when, you know, parlay bets and all that stuff happens on game day.
Yes.
But one thing I want to ask you about, and I want to make a small comment on it, was how the NFL, or the NHL, pardon me, has gone into the bubble, and they've really been successful in the COVID Cup. We haven't had any reported cases, new cases. They get tested every other day.
Yes.
But this is the standard. The NHL can be proud. It's not over yet. But so far, this is the standard that the other leagues have to look at. Now, the question is, could there be a side bet on does the season finish or not? Like there could be with the NFL and there could be with Major League Baseball.
Well, I can tell you this: there's been a lot of think tanks with college football, and Mike, there's 3 major conferences that have shut down college football today, and that's pretty serious stuff. Baseball, you saw what happened with the Marlins. They've only got 15 players on their roster. They've had to bring up a bunch of guys. So, you're missing stars. I think the NHL, well, first of all, you're playing in a country that really had COVID under control.
Right.
And then they had a plan, and they worked that plan. And unlike the basketball players who were, ordering pizza, going out, sneaking out, doing this, doing that, and they've got troubles, the NHL, you know what? They've stuck to their guns. They play in the bubble, and that's it. I don't think there's going to be any troubles, but something could pop up.
You never know.
They've done it right.
Yeah, but I mean, they really have. And again, another thing I wanted to talk about the NHL, Tommy, was how they had this first round of elimination. Because I've always been complaining, and I've hated the way the Stanley Cup playoffs are formatted in the NHL, because it's the same old, same old. You have to go through your division. It gets boring.
It does.
Where you want to, if you could go back and just do what they did this year, you bring in more teams. That means more money and more interest. You have all this stuff happening. I know at the start, Bettman didn't like the idea, but now here we are in August, and it sure had a lot of. I loved having to watch 4 games a day. That was heaven. After not having any sports for so many months, this is a dream come true. But I love this new format, Tommy.
Yes, I love it too. Do you remember back in 1981 where the NFL went, or sorry, the NHL went to the top 16 teams?
Yes.
And their playoff format was 1 plays 16, 2 plays 15. That was a great system. And you know what? You didn't know who you were going to play. I like this new system, and they really should look hard on this, because you know what? Play into the playoffs. And if you sneak in, you've got that qualifying round, and it means something. Look at the New York Rangers. They just got awarded the first overall pick in the NHL draft.
Yes.
How's that? Now, look at all the other teams. You know what? Thank God the Oilers didn't get number 1. Thank God.
Or Montreal, or Pittsburgh, or Toronto.
Well, in Toronto, they've got to break out the cobwebs for that parade. But
yeah,
I think it's a good system. They really have to review it. I think I'd like to see them go to qualifying rounds, like you said, and then I'd like to see them go to that 1 plays 16, 2 plays 15. That would really bring the intensity levels up, and I think the fans would love it even more.
They might get 20 teams in it, and maybe you set up a bye for the top 2 or something, whatever. But even if it was the best 2 out of 3, I mean, that really puts the fear of God into some teams. You can't have a night off. No,
you can't, and you got to have a hot goalie.
Yeah, but they'll never go to the 2 out of 3 because that's money out of the bank. 3 out of 5, at least. And it's money. It's making money. It's driving interest. And so it'll be interesting. The one final thing I want to say to you, Tom.
Yes.
When you watch a game and they don't have fans there, how long did it take you not to realize there's no fans?
Well, it took me 0 time, because you know what? I watch the players and I watch the play. I don't really care. If you remember back in the 80s when your station 2 and 7 carried the games, and every time they scored a goal, we had Michael Battis. You remember that big bald head right behind the Flames?
The pizza
we
guy?
always got that shot. But when if you're a true fan, you watch the play. You don't pay attention to all the outside stuff. You're watching what's happening, the defenseman setting up the offense, the wingers, and what everybody else does. The fans in the stands are for the people that are at the arena.
Right. Okay, Tommy, thank you as always. We will talk real soon.
You got it, Mike. Stay warm up there.
Well, it's middle of summer. It's not that. We're not Phoenix, for Christ's sakes.
Geo's Men's in Calgary, providing Calgarians to look their best.